Now, if I remember correctly, the last time we casted Miro, it was like a 40-minute game on Gressvan. It was quite a game. Quite a TvT, if I remember correctly. So, should I be concerned, Miro? Should I be concerned? Oh, no. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have one of our lovely viewers in the chat, representing Clan Exodus. It is Miro. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player. Not on the clan, it is Valanoir. Oh, here we go. Now again, I don't think I've casted enough of Miro to really get a read on what his PvT is looking like. I know that we have been seeing quite an interesting use of Cyclones in this matchup in the new patch. I wonder how much Miro has been exploring and experimenting with their TvP here. I'm ready for it. I'm excited. We're good to go. Oh good, oh good. As the SCV is getting across the map. And we will cover Jadol's replay after this as well. I got you, Papi, I got you. As we're going for an SCV scout, it's going to be just confirming that, of course, we are getting into a standard opener. Pylon is back at home. Likewise, we have a probe scout slipping into the main base as well. Making sure that the Rax is at home. And that there's no shenanigans, there's no cheese upon us. Not yet, not yet. So, have you heard of the eBay block? Well, let me introduce you to a depot block. I'm loving the thought behind it. Unfortunately, because the supply depot, oh god, can we get a cancel? Oh god, no! It's gonna be a kill, not a cancel. But because the HP is so low, we can deal with it. We can expand where we need to. As back at home, we do have a Rax expand set up here from Miro, so a very economic opener out of our Terran player. Again, I'm sure Miro is aware of this, but if you did want to try to disrupt the economy of the Protoss player a little bit more, and if you were able to get here without being followed, then an eBay block would actually get you in a really nice position. If you do get enough progression on it, then you will force an unnatural natural to be taken, and you can kind of take advantage of a spread thin Protoss player in the early game. Supply blocks or supply depot blocks, a little bit less so. As the Reaper does arrive, already getting one probe kill. Very nicely done. Probe does go down. Likewise, the Reaper just gonna look for some more damage. The boys are being pulled. Oh, not ideal here for the Protoss. A lot of lost mining time. Baited into pulling the boys. The Reaper won't get another kill, but again does at least confirm the second pylon, is able to disrupt his opponent, delay. Speaking of delay, we should be seeing our tech of choice, and based on the positioning, this should be a Twilight Council. There it is, Twilight Council is thrown down. It is going to be spotted by the Reaper. I want to say that this Twilight Council was intentionally delayed because we didn't want to show it to the Reaper, but the Reaper goes back in, which means this delay wasn't quite worth it. So a late Twilight Council for our Protoss player. Meanwhile, back at home, we're getting into our 1-1-1 setup. Looking pretty standard here with initial Widow Mines. I imagine we're going to be getting into a mine drop from here. And I imagine Valanoir is going to be working towards Blink. DT openers are a thing in TvP. They can at times catch Terran players off guard. It can be difficult, just because Ravens are relatively common in this matchup, and of course we have scans available, so DTs aren't seen as often as these other matchups, and yeah, there we go, Blink is on the way. Speaking of being committed, Miro, Nuts is going for a standard mine drop. We're gonna be adding quite a bit of spice to this. Okay, interesting. So we do have an armory on the way, so detection is going to be required to deal with these Widow Mines. It does also mean that these Hellions can morph into Hellbats. I'm not too sure how I feel about this, so we're going to be delaying the medevac in favor of a Liberator. The Liberator, of course, can harass, but this will delay the aggression. This will delay the drop that I assume we're working towards. Because there's no shot that we just made this armory just for the Hellbats. There we go. As the medevac is now on the way. We even have a cyclone, just a bit of everything, you know, just a bit of a kitchen sink. Liberator, Hellion, Cyclone, Widowmine, medevac, just a Marine. Just a bit of it all, as we're going to be sending it across the map. But back at home, Valanoir actually working on a really early Immortal. Very surprising. How many gateways do we have? We have 2 gateways in the main. We have a gateway here at the natural base. This is a 3-gate blink setup here from Valanoir, which means we should be working on a faster third. And we should be more active. This is where I have to be a little bit critical of the Protoss player, especially because we're working towards Blink. I mean, Blink is delayed because the Twilight Council is delayed, but this army should be active on the map to spot any move out like this, and to kite against this move out to deal and dance with these Hellions. As Valanoir can't quite do that, just because of the delay on Blink. We are going for a Hellbat put question mark? I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like Hellions are more effective here, just because we can run past the army and go straight into the mineral line. Okay. Hellbats are gonna be distracting the main force as we do. No, we don't pull off the mine drop. Ah. Oh, a disastrous start here as the medevac gets shut down, the army gets cleaned up, Liberator comes in for a bit of damage, and I say a bit, 8 worker kills? Oh my god. It's a lot of worker kills. But yeah, that was an interesting attack. I stand by what I said before. I feel like in that situation, Hellions are a little bit more effective because again, you could potentially just run past the army and get into the natural mineral line or the main mineral line with your Hellions. Or again, just try to distract your opponents while you commit to the drop. Regardless, it can be difficult to pull that off just because of this map layout as well. As we even have 3 shield batteries. Jesus, Valanoir just being very defensive here. And we are going to be calming things down. Ugh. Back at home, 3rd TC is on the way. Stim 1-1. Getting into our rack setup as well. 7 racks setup here on 3 bases. My, oh my. That's a lot of raxes. That's a lot of raxes here from Miro. But again, the game is settling on down, and at least Valanoir is going to be able to work on their splash damage. A little bit interesting that Valanoir opted not to go for Colossus, or not to go for Robotics Bay. We're going to be relying on Storm instead. A bold choice here for the Protoss. It can be very difficult to control, very difficult to rely on Storms, but I appreciate that we're trying to pull this off, or that we're going for this tech option. Always do appreciate it. As Liberator returns, but will get cleaned up here at that 3rd. And back at home, Miro's just fortifying himself. We've got turrets being thrown down left and right. 3rd base is getting saturated. The reason why I mentioned earlier that I was surprised to see 7 Raxes is I believe we don't actually have the economy to sustain 7 Raxes. Oh my, as we throw down an 8th Rax, jeez. You know, I mean, we got plenty of production for the late game, you know? We got plenty of production for a fully saturated 3rd at least. We're getting there, we're getting there. Duh. As I imagine we're going to be going for a 4th momentarily as well. Typically 8 Raxes on 3 bases is pretty all in. That's also why I bring it up. But because we've taken the gases here, I imagine Miro is intending to take a 4th and isn't intending to be all in. Speaking of a 4th is taken here from Valanoir. We have a Marine drop here moving out towards the left hand side. We have a Mine drop slipping in towards the main. Oh, and these drops are missed by the main army of the Protoss. Aye. I'm concerned though because we don't really have too much back at home. Do we force the army to turn around? Oh, I assume this was a mine drop. Never mind. Marauder drop into the main. Marine drop in towards the natural. Probes are going down, and Valanoir is a bit starstruck. Yo, we sniped the Robo. Robo is sniped, and yeah, Valanoir just a bit asleep at the wheel. is going to eventually clean this up. But the Marines, they take down so many workers. 28 probes go down in total. And here we go. We're committing to the attack. We have Storm. Plenty of Storms. Oof. And the Storms again, they zone back the Bio army. Big Storm on the Bio as well. And Valanoir could honestly just keep on pushing from here. The Marauder drop across the map doing a surprising amount of damage, but the third base is going to be forfeit. Oh, do we get a Storm on the SCVs? Oh. Go for it, Bobby. Go for it. We save them for the army instead. Oh, mine shots are going to be going off. They take down some of the High Templar. Oh my god, almost every High Templar goes down. Only one remains. Very fortunate mines actually from Miro to take them down. And there is no detection. These mines are even going to reset. As they will reset. And if Valanoir isn't careful, he's going to be losing his entire army. Mines go off. Oof. Valanoir is forced back. Back at home, he does still have a pretty solid composition, but economy. Here it is third and his fourth. But yeah, I'm not too sure how fond I am of this specific army composition, especially if as we skip those early tanks, there was no backbone, there was no anchor point here available for Miro. Valanoir was able to just force his way through. And as the armies back off, I want to give the edge to Valanoir. He's making 4 probes at a time, is missing a couple of chronos, and by a couple I mean almost every single one. But he can get back into this. Meanwhile, Miro going to be taking his 4th on location, is moving out. There is a lot of pressure on Miro to get damage done, I will say that. Oh, that is 4 High Templar, each with 1 Storm. Yo, can we drag the army through the minefield? Up! The setup, Bobby, the setup. Storm will connect. Oh my god, some big storms on the army actually. We weren't able to connect with that EMP. Mines are leapfrogging forward. Yeah, we are still looking for a solid EMP that will connect with the Zealots. Not quite with the High Templars. We still have 1 more Storm in the chamber. We still have 1 available. Oof. Yeah, and I just don't think we have enough to break this position. Not with all these Immortals, not with the Stalkers. Back at home, we're just amassing our army though. Maybe I should have more faith in these Widow mines. As the mines, they're going off. And once again, there is no detection. They're going to be able to reset. Do we have an observer? We don't. Are we going to make an observer this? There we go. This was a problem. This was an issue earlier. We do have an observer on the way. He is being chronoed. But the reinforcements are going to get here in time. And with the mass amount of Marauders, Ghost Marines, we can push through. If we blanket this army with EMPs, then Miro can take a pretty big fight. Nuke? Nuke is on the way. Fusion core as well. Here we go. Show us the EMP, Bobby. Up. Takes a big storm to the face. But there we go. We bust on through. Get on top of the Immortals. And from here, Miro can just annihilate this army. Nothing standing in his way. This is the downside of relying on just storms, is EMPs take down the High Templar. They just remove the opportunity to storm. And the Bio army snowballs out of control. 4th base has been broken. Valanoir gonna try to expand here towards the south, but at this point there's nothing left. There is no army left standing here for the Protoss. There's 2 observers. Oh my god. What was that? Aye. GG. Well, hold on. I need to read this, but I'm also not gonna show it on stream just in case. The hell was the hell did he say? What did he have to say? GG. Congratulations, Miro. Congratulations on taking the game. Well done, well done. I need to read this. Oh my god. Ay. Alright. We'll show the chat. Damn. How do you do it? You just spam EMP and you kill everything. It must be nice to have such a brain dead race. And your macro. How many mules and supply depots did you call? So I was just mentioning how this guy. Look. If you want to call out someone for like muling and calling down supply, this guy he never chronoed. Look at the energy on these Nexi. Literally no chronos. He's full of energy. He's overflowing. Ay, mate, you can't do this. Not like this, papi. Not like this. Ay. Shaking my head, GG. When it comes to the proto side of things, that's also typically why if you do open up High Templar, it's an opening, as in like it's your starting splash damage, and you want to, especially once you get a 4th base up and running, you want to be diversifying your splash damage. You want to be working towards Colossus, towards Disruptors, a more consistent form of splash damage as well. Just because, as we saw, like EMPs, I don't know if I want to go as far as say as they're a hard counter, but they are a good way to just shut an army like that down. Also, I should emphasize as well that the reality is that Miro did take most storms to the face. The EMPs, we did land some EMPs towards the end of the game, true, but the reality is that most High Templar were not being hit by EMPs. Most High Templar died to the Widow Mines. If you remember, in the first fight, it was like 5 High Templar in the first attack that moved towards the 3rd base. I want to say like 5 High Templar died to Widow Mines. And I feel, and I'll be honest, I think if it weren't for those mine shots specifically killing High Templar, Miro could have died then and there. I was convinced that push would have ended the game. So it wasn't even the EMPs that dealt with the High Templar. Like let's be real here. Oh my god. The cope, papi, the cope. GG, well played. GG. And with that, we have one series left. I see the chat's catching up. Ay. Alright, we're getting ready for our final replay redemption. It is, of course, from one of our Terrians in the chat, Jadolf. When it comes to the game itself, to give a little bit of construction, he hates the macro mechanics in SE2, so he refuses to use them. True. He doesn't just hate the mule, he doesn't just hate the cooldown supply, he also hates chrono boost, okay? Clearly. So I guess a little bit of constructive feedback. Overall, well done, Miro, well done. I am unconvinced by your Hellbat push in this matchup. That was the biggest thing. The opener was a little bit lackluster. I know that the Liberator did a lot of damage, but you invested a lot to actually have that Liberator kill 8 workers with the Cyclone Hellbat Widowmine drop with Lib. It was a tri-pronged attack and it had potential, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it felt a little bit haphazard. And I feel like some refinement could definitely be done there. Outside of that, in the early game, especially after a mine drop, it's we typically see Terran players go for like, I don't know, maybe two to 3 tanks for safety early on, just to secure your 3 bases, then get into mines. If you're going straight into mines, then typically you need to be very active with your bio army. Like, you're rushing into faster stim, you're rushing into faster upgrades, and you're being very active on the map to make sure that a push like that either doesn't occur, or if it does, you are well aware of it ahead of time and you're able to prepare for it with bunkers, for example, like to have the foresight to be able to deal with that. Oceanborn is a little bit tricky just because the rush distance by ground is really short, so even if you were being active, it can be difficult to it can be quite difficult to actually react in time. So I will say that Oceanborn can be rough. Regardless, GG, well played, as we get into our next game.